Good afternoon, and welcome to Brunch and Budget on Bonfire Radio with your host, Pamela Capellet, a certified financial planner here to help take the bite out of your budget, brunchandbudget.com. I'm your sound provider, Dialect, and here's your host, Pamela Capellet.
Thank you, Dialect, and thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. So it's the beginning of the year, so of course, we have to talk about taxes.
Do we have to talk about taxes?
We do. I'm sorry.
I don't want to talk about taxes. We're going to talk about something else this year.
But we have someone to talk us through this year.
I'm sure she has other interests. She probably likes stuff. I don't want to. Oh man, taxes, guys. Y'all listening? Do y'all want to? I guess you're listening to Brunch and Budget because you want to hear about taxes.
We do, and we're actually super excited to have our accountant on, Gina Noy. Founder of Noy Taxes, CPA, has more than 15 years of tax experience specializing in individuals, partnerships, corporate taxation. Thank you so much for joining us and talking about a subject that we're all kind of scared of.
Yeah. I don't want to, diss your whole profession. It's not that we don't want to hear about taxes. It's just that right now, stuff is crazy with taxes, and I think we're all just a little afraid of what's gonna come out of your mouth. So. That's all. Just let us down gently. How much are my taxes here? Is it 100%? Is it more than 100%?
No, it just went down or something, right?
No, not for me. Right.
Thank you.
I heard that they're going to give one of us to. If you have $1 million, they're just going to give one of the rest of us to them. Is that what's going on?
That wasn't the original plan, actually.
Well,
I think the Senate turned it down.
That was literally in the original plan. If you're being very original.
Oh man. Woo.
Yeah. So talk us off the ledge. What's going on here with these taxes? How crazy is it? What should we be worried about? And what can we do about it?
Let's start with the new stuff. The new stuff that just passed at the end of the year.
Sounds good. Well, I'm really excited to be on your show, Pam. I love what you do, and I think it's extremely important. It also goes well with taxes. And I don't know about you, but I love taxes. That's all I have.
Yes, someone loves taxes.
I don't have any other hobbies. So let me tell you what's going on for 2018. So there's two avenues we're going to talk about. If we're going to start with 2018, that basically means that it is what's going to happen currently. And then we're going to talk about what most people are afraid of is what already happened in 2017, and which is going to be filed on April 15th, by April 15th, 2018. So for 2008, as you must have read or heard, or if you're alive and on this planet, the new administration has announced sweeping changes to our tax code. The last sweeping change was in 1986. And it took Congress 18 months, give or take, to flush out all the details. This administration, I want to say it took them less than 8 weeks to push the tax cuts through for 2018. So I would like to start first with a disclosure. I know as much as probably what you read in New York Times or whatever journal that you keep up in the morning news. Basically, we know that the standard deduction is increasing, which means more people are going to file as a standard deduction versus itemized deduction. And I'm a huge fan of that. Make life easier for everyone.
What does that mean exactly?
Yeah,
the whole idea. What is a deduction in general?
Oh, okay. Yeah, we break that part down because then I want to hear a little bit more about that. Because as a freelancer, I don't know if I like the sound of that. It sounds like they're trying to play me.
Yeah.
Well, standard deduction is basically there's two ways to file a tax return. The default is standard deduction, and is basically assigned by the Congress. You can see changes from year to year, and obviously 2018 it's going to be doubled. And it's a way to bring down your taxable income from, let's say, 100,000 minus the standard deduction. That's going to be your taxable income. Certain people who have real estate in high states like New York would have state and local income taxes, charitable deduction, certain business expenses, unreimbursed business expenses. They have so much activity throughout the year that it's greater than standard deduction. So they're able to itemize and decrease their taxable income and either get a slightly larger refund or owe a little bit more. The standard deduction and itemized deduction really is a separate from a freelance. And I would love to talk about that a little bit later. But that is basically what the Congress is proposing, is that, or not proposing, is actually going into effect, is that the standard deduction is doubling and some of the tax rates are coming down. There are certain winners and losers in this new Job Tax Cut Act. And New York is definitely one of the losers because we're losing an itemized deduction to state and local income taxes. We're losing real estate deduction. It's capped at $10,000, like both deductions are capped at $1,000. So there are some losers and some winners. The AMT tax is also exemption is increased, which is good. So those deductions are still being worked through how exactly it's going to work. But if you are a W-2 employee, the IRS just last night came out with withholding tables, basically how many exemptions you put down. So the payroll companies and the employers now will put that in effect, and they have to do it by February 15th.
Oh, so wait, does that mean that I should go and look at my W-4 or something, or talk to HR and ask them to change the number of exemptions?
Yes. So actually, you don't need to do this because IRS is using your already filed W-4 and trying to make your life easier, which I think is a huge help because W-4 confuses a lot of people, and it confuses me. So it confuses a lot of people. So HR will use the existing W-4 to adjust the withholding. So after February, or around February or right after February 15th, you'll definitely see less withholding.
So you'll see a little bit more money in your paycheck.
That's right. That's right. So that's exciting. The scary part, I think, for me and for everybody else is how it's going to play out when we actually file our 2018 tax return by April 15, 2019. And that is really anybody's guess. We'll see how it trues up because we're losing so many deductions.
Right,
so
right.
People who were using itemized deduction are going to be hurt significantly. But we'll see how the numbers play out.
Right, right. And I think that's what makes it feel so scary, I think, is because one, like you said, they took 8 weeks to actually push this through. It happened at the very end of the year, so anything we could have done in 2017, we didn't really have much time to do. And then 2018 is still a big question mark. We really don't know how this is going to affect people's taxes. And I feel like also, you may save a couple $100, but the person making $1 million is now going to save hundreds of thousands of dollars that they didn't really need to save. Like, who is this? who are these tax cuts really for, right? They threw us a couple bucks over here so that a bunch of people in the 1% could save a shit ton more money.
Well, I mean, isn't that usually how these tax cuts go? Like, the middle class and upper middle class get a little something, like enough that you can talk about on a
right.
On
you
a
feel
sound,
good about
like,
it.
have a little soundbite thing. I don't know who feels good about it. That's a big old lie. But yeah, well, while they can put a bigger tax cut on the rich.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it's hard to say. Like, I probably will have a little bit more grasp on the law during the summer. But it is hard to say. I'm optimistic type of person. I don't know how many accountants are, but I am. So I'm hoping that the doubling of the standard deduction will simplify tax return preparation for many people. I'm also hoping that the decrease of the tax rates will also help people. What I'm a little nervous about is that it is going to increase the national debt, which is outside of the scope of tax conversation.
Right.
But I think we are going to be maybe gaining, like you said, a couple of $100. But I think we might be losing, if it doesn't stimulate the economy that the hope is, that we might be losing a lot in terms of debt and the programs that I rely on, transportation, daycare, schooling, food, federal disaster, like relief, all kinds of programs that we pay for. I'm afraid what's going to happen down the line. But again, I'm optimistic, so we'll see.
Yeah, I think that was the first thing that my head jumped to too, was just this idea of like, if we are basically reducing tax revenue across the board, like what will that look like on a bigger economic scale? And that might be a different conversation for a different day, but I think that tax cuts tend to increase the national debt in general.
So not to get all kind of misty about it, and actually I don't even have an interest in going in that direction. I just know that as a human who lives around other humans, I have seen that paying more tax is a good thing, and most of the places that we're lauding and saying, "Oh, I wish we could be like that."
Look at Norway. Look at Sweden, right? Didn't that just happen?
Yeah, people who are like, "Oh, I love these." Yeah, you mainly love them because they're white and blonde, but
they also pay 50% tax.
They also pay a ton of taxes and get their government to regulate the heck out of their entire lives, and they're all really happy folks. So
Yeah, there you go. Well, and I'm curious too. So one of the other big tax cuts, because all of the tax cuts that you mentioned, I remember seeing they were temporary for individuals. On the business side, can you explain more like what the tax cuts are for corporations, and like how that is going to affect people?
Sure. So there is this, if you look at corporate taxation, my clients report either single member LLC, they work as sole proprietor if you're a freelancer. Some clients have S Corps, which is a federal election to treat a C Corp as a flow-through entity. And there are C Corps, which is a corporation, if you think about Apple, that's the C Corp. So a lot of my clients operate as a sole proprietor, single member or multi-member LLC. They have 2 partners or more, and S Corps. I think in terms of the tax cuts, the C Corps are going to be the winners. The tax rate for C Corps has been slashed, and it is amazing. So people who have before tried to avoid C Corps are now looking into C Corp taxation, because when I say C Corps, it's basically a corporation pays its tax on its own level, federal, state, and city. And it, also, when it distributes income to its shareholder, it pays its individual pay tax on the dividend. So that's what the double taxation is called. But because the federal tax is cut to the maximum of 21%, if somebody's tax...
What did it used to be?
It used to be gradual up to 35%.
Oh, wow. So it's a big tax cut.
Yeah, it's quite impressive jump. And again, it's to stimulate economy. You're basically saying the C corporation doesn't have to pay the taxes. Will it hire more people? Will it buy more inventory, or will it buy more assets? So
have we seen that happen in the past when we've slashed corporate tax rates? Do companies end up hiring more people and using that extra cash for that, or do they just like keep it in reserves or pay their CEOs more?
I think we see a lot of things. I don't really know, to be honest with you. I think it just depends what you follow, what you read. I think if you're leaning Republican, you will see that, yes, it stimulates the economy. I think if you're leaning Democrat, you're going to see that it doesn't. I think the answer must be somewhere in the middle.
But like, isn't the math?
Yeah, like aren't the facts facts when it comes to...
I'm just saying like math, because other stuff can be crazy, but like, isn't math? Like it does or it doesn't, right?
No, not necessarily, because again, it's going back and looking at the data, which I don't do. I don't do it, so I can't really tell you. But it's basically, so let's say they do cut the tax rates. They have cut the tax rates for the corporation starting 2018, and the corporation makes $1 million. They have to pay, let's say, $30,000 less in taxes. Will they go out and hire people or increase salaries, or will they pay more the CEO? Or will they distribute shares? I think different corporations will do different things. And I think if a corporation needs to hire people, it's going to do that no matter what the tax rate. But regardless. But I also think that certain groups track certain things if they want certain results.
I see what you're saying.
It's hard to say across, yeah. So I think like, I'm going to focus on this and completely disregard, anything else. So
right.
I remember when there was a huge tax cut, I don't think Ohio State or city, they actually went into deficit. It's the opposite of stimulating the economy.
Oh, wow.
I want to say they went into bankruptcy almost. And the next round of legislation was to increase that.
Well, that's what I found to be like when people do the math part and don't do the whole the cherry picking thing is that when you cut taxes, that it tends to destimulate economies.
Yeah, because it makes it harder for governments to run and keep programs going.
Yeah, I haven't found too many instances of major tax cuts leading. Actually, I don't really have any evidence of large corporations hiring more because they were given more money. In fact, the general corporate mandate is don't hire people
as much as possible.
If at all possible, never hire people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? I don't have enough information that I don't know. But I think I'm going to go back to what Pam does. Pam does budgeting, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the most important part of what business is going to do. So if you're budgeting to hire people, you're going to hire people.
Right. If you get to the point where you have to.
When you have to, exactly. It's all about you to have, but you have certain expenses that you account for, and taxes is one of them. And I think, to be honest with you, most of my clients are okay paying taxes. Mm-hmm. They might be shocked for that.
Right. You might groan a little, but you get it.
A lot?
Yeah, I don't think my opinion is, I don't think I'm the only one who thinks that. I think a lot of individuals in America are really okay with paying taxes, especially considering we know all the good stuff it's going to get us.
Yeah.
If you're Democrat leaning, if you're Republican leaning, a lot of my clients are Democrats. I have a hard time. I think I only had one client who was a Republican, and he was very against taxes, and it was hard for me to respond because he was like 1%, the reverse of 1% of my client population. So most of my clients are okay. They grown. So they're okay paying taxes, but there are people who, I think it's outside of New York mostly, are not okay.
Well, no, there's lots of folks in New York who say that they're not okay, but that's a lie. You can say things that you think that you feel, but your body actually reacts differently because,
Agreed.
For all of you folks who are listening who don't like paying taxes, when my black ass shows up at your door unannounced, and if you call the cops and nobody comes, well, that's your ass.
Yeah.
Everybody out there who's scared of paying taxes, well, you don't have to pay taxes. Don't call the cops neither. I'll see you.
Yeah. All right. So let's go to a song and start talking about our individual selves and how we can get our tax stuff together in 2017.
Oh. Since I was just talking the black stuff, so I go to that one first?
Sure.
All right. The first song we are going to... Oh, wait. I love it. I didn't know where these folks are from, and turns out Brooklyn, New York City,
hey-yo.
Of course. And they got a song that talks about a little bit metaphorical taxes, but specific taxes that you have to pay when you're black. It's called Black Tax, and we'll check you in a minute. Run your budget, Bonfire Radio.
Don't let your head fall, black man. Don't let your head fall. Hold it up. When you walk like you a king, they can't ignore it. When you know your worth, you gon' pay for it. When you talk like you're the queen, they can't ignore it. When you know your worth, you gon' pay. That's the black tax.
Blood on my face in the street. Gun to the back of my head, plop, plop. If you wanna be a king, gotta pay for it.
You can go to college if you want to. You still gotta pay up, pay up. climb the corporate ladders, but you still gotta pay up.
If you wanna be a king, gotta pay for it.
I wish I was talking about money.
Blood on my face on the street, gun to the back of my head.
They wanna cut me down, they wanna take me down, they wanna string me up, put my head in the ground. You can run for president, you can run for higher heights, but no matter where you go, you'll be running for your life.
If you wanna be a king, gotta pay.
Black tax, Jesus paid it. Black tax, Martin Luther King paid it. Obama paid it. Eric Garner paid it. Black America paid it. Ali paid it. The Panthers paid it. Malcolm X paid it. Body swinging paid it. Jim Crow paid it. War on drugs paid it. Justice system paid it. Fear baiting made it. Racism played it. Bad religion faked it. Only fools obey it.
If you're a king and you know it, if you're a queen to some effect, if you hold your head up high, just don't forget to protect your name.
I gotta give a little bit more. I gotta try a little more long. I gotta do a couple more things, or I'll be gone by the end of the song. Oh, black boy, you ain't a bad boy. If you wanna be a king, gotta pay for it. That's just a black tax.
And we're back. Brunch Your Budget, Bonfire Radio. I didn't even actually say the name of the artist. It's Larkin versus Lakin, which is a great name anyway.
Right.
Yeah, with Black Tax coming out of Brooklyn, New York.
I love it. And we are here talking about taxes, our favorite thing. No, but we actually have someone here, Gina Noy, CPA, where it is your favorite thing. Thank goodness. This is why we do our taxes
Well,
with
it
you.
needs to be our favorite thing, man. Like, it's like, you feel like it's some sort of crazy Telltale Heart-esque obsession.
Yeah, no, it's true.
You're just hearing the taxes thumping in your head.
But I think when we talk to accountants like you, we realize, like, okay, it's a thing we have to do, but it's not that big of a deal. So I'm curious, before we really dive in anymore, I want to know more about what your background is. How did you get into accounting? Did you dream when you were a little girl of being an accountant one day? And then how did you end up starting your own practice?
All right, so not to make myself sound dorky, yes, I actually knew I was going to be an accountant.
Oh,
in
that's
high
so cool.
My mom asked my sister, like, what do you want to be? My sister's very multi-talented, and so being a little, being very young, said, what should I be? My mother thought of my capabilities, said, well, maybe a bookkeeper or accountant. And so I did.
What?
I became an accountant in high school. I did general ledgers, but I graduated Pace University and I joined Arthur Andersen in 2001. Arthur Andersen unfortunately had an unfortunate demise, which sunk with Enron. But I had my career in the Big Six at the time, and now it's Big Four, which was an amazing experience. I worked at a huge private equity firm. I learned a lot. I worked at corporate tax. And then in 2010, I was ready for the new step. I wanted to see what I wanted to do, and I wanted to give back. It's very difficult to work in a big corporation and give back. I hadn't had time to volunteer. I didn't have time to for family or even dating. So it's something that usually there has to be something better. And I still love tax. I couldn't figure out what else I wanted to do, but I wanted to help people. So I decided to take my skills, and at that time I was really lucky because co-working was opening up. Really, WeWork was really coming out of its just New York based and expanding. Technology was really at the point where I was able to take advantage and expand my services. And I did. I was very nervous to find out how I would get my clients. But honestly, if you do a good job for one person, that one person spreads the word. And it really took no time at all, but become very busy and really enjoying what I do because I end up helping people. And even though I have to tell them they owe a lot of money, I try to do it with with a smile. And so they know that I did everything that humanly possible, that even though they have to pay tax, they're paying tax. That what their share is, that nothing, stones were not unturned, expenses were not overlooked, and basically set them up for next year. I basically also try to educate them. So, and which is to them was an amazing breath of fresh air, saying, well, usually my past account just give it to me, sign, and I never know why I was paying tax, how it was calculated. And so that's the best part of my practice is educational portion through tax consultation, tax preparation, and being on your show, hoping to teach and share my experiences.
Which really appreciate, because I think one of the reasons why we're weird about a lot of the things we do with taxes is because we don't know.
It looks like a foreign language when you look at those forms and when you see where all the numbers are going.
And we've been told our whole lives that we're not going to get it.
Right, it's
true.
true.
So we're primed for not getting it, and we're like, oh, and we've all decided we're bad at math and all those things. So then we see it, and then we hear all those things about it's bad and it's taken stuff from us. I think one of the reasons why people are messed up about taxes and why we try to get ourselves away from them, because I know I've been like that, especially when I was younger, is we think that we're in a silo with it, and it's just us throwing money at nothing because some government who's already rich said so. So I think the education part is really helpful for getting folks to understand their place within the whole tax system.
For sure. Well, and then on top of that, like, most accountants don't do what you do. They will straight up, like, the scenario you described is so common. I hear that from so many clients where they're like, I've never even met my accountant. He emails me one-word answers.
And the picture that I have in my head is like some Ebenezer Scrooge type of thing. Because that's how folks think, like, and it's definitely, there are accountants who really help push that along because they are pretty miserly and curt and not helpful, and it makes the entire process that much scarier.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's also a relationship. Whenever I pick my doctors or any professional, it's also a relationship. Do I want to call? Like when I called, when Pam and I met, it's like, she's great. I'm not afraid to call her and ask her about, financial advice. But if you're dreading a call to your CPA or an email to CPA, I think it's time to switch. And that's why people say, should I switch to you? I said, only if you have a bad relationship. If you're a good relationship, and I say keep your accountant, because it's a relationship. It's something that he or she knows your history, and they do have your back, just like any good professional in any industry.
Hey, well, can I ask you on that tip? It might be digressing a little bit, but if you've got an accountant or you're looking for somebody and you're not sure what your relationship is, you're not sure if you've got something good going on, what are a couple of easy signs? What are the things you would look for?
You know what? And I have given these tips not only for accountants, but when you look for accountants, but also lawyers. Do they call you back? Do they email you back? To me, that's huge. Especially when you're just looking to hire somebody, they're going to be at their most impressive.
Right.
So they're not responding to you within 24 to 48 hours. When you're trying to get initial answer, then I think it's not a good fit, because either they're too busy or they just don't feel it's important to address questions.
Right.
So, and then sometimes I think it's okay to say, do you have an introduction call that we do a free introduction call, or do you have a paid consultation? So I think it just depends. And I think from there, if people are answering your questions and you think everything is going well, everything's filed on time, if you get a notice, your notice is, the accountant responds to you and tells you what to do about the notice, whether you need to do something or he or she will do something on your behalf, you're great. You're golden. Your accountant's not going to be your best friend. They don't need to be your best friend. They just need to be there when it's something happens.
But it's not illegal for them to be your best friend, right? It's not like non-compliant.
My clients are very, very good friends of mine, so hopefully it's not illegal.
We're just checking. We just need to make
I
sure.
love it.
Somebody's got their best friend doing their taxes.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Right?
Oh man, I love it. So it sounds like that you work with a lot of creative people, a lot of freelancers, and we have a lot of freelancers who are listening, or people hopefully, and also people who are starting to figure out how to make side income. So they may be working a full-time job, but suddenly they're also making income that is pre-tax. They're getting this 1099 at the end of the year, and they're like, I don't know what to do with this. What do you mean I have to pay taxes on this?
Oh man, the first year I started doing that, it was a big mess.
Yeah, totally. So what advice do you have for them when it comes to like starting the process of getting their taxes done?
Well, I guess to be more specific about that, I'm about to start a freelance business, right?
Or start making any side income.
Or a side, a
whatever
side
it
income
is.
thing. What should I do before I'm even getting into it, thinking about my taxes? Because
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about my taxes at all right now. I've got this new idea.
Great. And I agree. The first year is the scariest year, not only from a business point of view, but definitely from a tax point of view. So if you are either doing a side business or you're going full-fledged as a freelancer, then I think the first thing I cannot say enough is organization, bookkeeping. So one thing I always advise, and this is part of my tax consultation that I do, is separate one of your credit cards for business only. And same with the bank as well, like a checking or a savings. It doesn't have to say business credit cards. That's just marketing. So if you have two credit cards, separate. The point is you don't want to commingle funds. I think also from a tax point of view, and also just seeing where your business goes, you want to monitor that. You want to get at the end of the year, hopefully you're doing it monthly, but being realistic, if you're doing it at the end of the year, you get this data down, and then you can sort what are your expenses, allowable expenses. You or your accountant will need that information. But what I deal with freelancers, the first year they go freelance or the first year I work with them, they say, well, it's on my personal credit card and I have this business credit card, but then I closed it and I opened another one. And then they have to sit there because nobody really wants to pay an accountant to go through your statement. They sit there and highlight, and then they have to put schedules, and it eats into, I'm not kidding you, it could take 5 weeks, if not more. There are 12 months in a year. If you allocate 1 year per month, you have 12 hours. But it's going to take more than 12 months. I mean, more than 12 hours. So, and people start hating it and procrastinating, and then their tax returns are not done by tax time. And then there are huge penalties for not paying taxes and not filing taxes. So the one thing I can say and implore people is start organizing your books monthly. You know, you're watching some TV. If you're doing it in Excel, that's fine. Just separate credit card, separate a bank account, download the transaction, organize, and move on. If you're using accounting software, that's fine. I know that Score offers free, I think, QuickBooks or bookkeeping courses. Please don't take my word for it, but check with them. Or, you know, we offer bookkeeping coaching, but obviously we charge for it. So maybe you go to Score or a small business bureau and try to get
BCNA does too. Yep, the Business Center for New Americans does free QuickBooks. Yeah, that's a great idea actually if you're just starting out. And if you don't have that many transactions, right? If you're not having hundreds of transactions a month, then maybe you can do it for yourself, at least at the beginning.
Absolutely. I mean, most people will, a consultant, like I'm talking about consultant, freelancer, graphic designer, web development, they will have maybe 20 to 50 line items a month. So it's not that big of a deal, just don't fall behind.
Right, because then it'll be hundreds of transactions.
It's going to be. And then the other thing I would say that if you're if you see the 10 line miscellaneous and let's say you earn $20,000, it's not all of yours to keep. So your income minus your business expenses equals your taxable income. And then I would take about, depending on your situation, which is hard for me to know, it would be 30 to 40% towards taxes. just depends.
Of what you have left over after you subtract your expenses. Okay.
That's correct, Pam. So I think it's
Wow.
very important to just realize that, let's say 30% of every $100 is not yours to keep. It's somebody else's.
Yeah, that
And
took me a while to learn as a freelancer. And one of the, to piggyback on your thing, one of the things that I started doing was before I even took expenses, every check that I got, I saved a third.
Amazing. That's my goal for everyone. And then like I said, the first year, like you just piggyback off what you're saying, the first year is the hardest. And then after that, it's a learning curve. And then people like all of a sudden, I said, I put away 45%, so I have $10,000 extra. So, and then we're in a happy place. We're doing great.
Right, you gave yourself a refund. Look at that.
Yeah. Okay, retirement. Let's talk about retirement. So, there's always planning up, down next year. But that would be my tips: is separate your credit cards or open a business credit card, which is marketing. I'm doing air quotes, so you can't see me, and put away, I would say 30%, 40%, depending
Off
what
the
your
top.
income. Off the top.
Yeah, which I know it hurts when you hear it, but that's what they're doing for you when you're an employee with a W-2.
Yeah, that's
It's the same thing.
It's the same
Exactly
thing.
the same
Well, it's
thing.
just one of those things where being a freelancer at first feels real sexy and successful because you're getting this large amount of money that you're like, wow, I'm making more than I was making at my job. And then you realize, no, I'm making less than I was making at my job, because not only was that number not including taxes, it wasn't including health
Expenses,
insurance,
yeah.
expenses, like, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, no, that's so crazy. And so I feel like after the first year too, like a lot of my clients catch wind of this thing called quarterly tax payments.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for saying that.
So what are those? Do we have to make those?
Yes, and yes, and yes. So the 30% in our example, that you're taking a haircut of what you earned, you're putting it away. What do you do with it? Yes, you can wait till the end of the year, but the IRS does not want you to do that.
They
New
want
York
their
does
money.
not want- they want their money. It's like marriage. They are married to your success.
Wait, is that what marriage is like?
Oh,
Who wants
man.
my
They're
money?
married to your success.
Oh.
When you do well, they do well.
Oh, okay. Who wants my money?
Yes.
That's right. No, because I got married, and I don't know now. Should I be looking over my shoulder?
I know, right? I'm over here.
No, you look over your shoulder too. You married also.
But absolutely. So the estimated taxes, because when you get a W-2, your taxes are withheld and remitted on your behalf. When you're self-employed, you're putting away this money. So what do? 4 times a year: April 15th, June 15th, September 15th, and January 15th of the following year. You either have to write a check to the government, or you go online and pay your guesstimate, or I guess I'm doing air quotes, but guesstimate on what you think it's going to be. You can either do a calculation every quarter, which I usually don't recommend. I say pay based on last year's, called a safe harbor. So So if your 2016 tax liability was $5,000, you can divide that into 4 and pay every quarter $1,500, whatever it ends up being. Every quarter. But don't forget New York. New York is also there.
They also want their money. They're also married to your success.
They're also married to my
Being
I
a
love
Mormon
that.
isn't as fun as I thought it
I
would
know,
be.
right? What?
All these people married
Tax
to my
Mormon.
success. The Tax Mormon. It's my new rap name. Tax Mormon.
Oh man, so you have to pay the federal government quarterly taxes. Your state wants quarterly taxes. If you're in a state that charges state taxes, I guess. Okay, and then you're saying,
And I know it sounds like, some people are listening being like, quarterly taxes, that just sounds like more work. But really, y'all, those numbers stack up.
they do.
And just a thing that we've seen, for those of us who don't win the lottery every time we feel like it, it's hard to gather large sums of money.
Yeah,
It's hard to gather a third. Think about a third of what you made for the
year.
year. That's not something you're slapping together in 2 months.
Yeah.
No.
And I'm saying this because, like, maybe you can, maybe you're better at scrambling than me, but I was the guy who had the tax gig every February, where like I had to have like a big gig in February because I knew that I hadn't
getting
saved
heart
enough.
palpitations.
Well, I'm just saying, I remember
the tax gig,
the terror of this, and I remember how hard it is, and then preparing for the tax gig just eventually became quarterly payments as I got smarter at it. Because at first it was like throwing a huge party in February, then it was, no, maybe I'll throw a couple of things from January, and then the next thing I know, I was like doing it as soon as I got it.
Right. It's just, and so you're just saying, just do it.
That's what I'm saying. It's gonna. I know. I know the young knees listening who are like, oh, I'll just wait. Oh, that's like four times I got to put it together. I'm going to just wait. No, don't do it.
Don't do it. Oh, man.
I know it sounds like the same money, but it's not going to be.
And on that note, let's go to a song and let our tax Mormonism kind of sink in.
All right. Yeah, so we can have fun in our tax polyamory. You know what? Next one, let's go to this one, because this one's more uplifting. I'm gonna go to Chino, California. You know where that is in California?
Yeah, that's up the way north.
Way north, Chino, California, for kids seldom, because people don't visit them often, with Financial Freedom from the album American Scheme. And we'll check you in a minute. Bunch of Budget, Bonfire Radio.
Yeah. Seldom. You know what the fuck this is, right? Let's get it. Last night I had a dream, I was something like a king, with no stress, no worries, living drama free. Showed my mother a mansion and handed her the keys. Kissed her on the forehead and thanked her for raising me. Told her I'd be back, then a chauffeur came for me. In an all-black Phantom, I'm in an all-black suit. Our destination was a ceremony where I seen my only son graduate from college. I teared up and I hugged him. I told him I was proud, and then I heard a crowd. They was calling my name, and their latest stage, my son told me, Pops, hop up on it, this your moment, go and do your thing. Just promise me you won't forget my face. Dreaming. Let's get it. And I can do without the fame, cause I'm just in it for the money. But I know they go hand in hand like comedians and being funny. So here I go, life's a gamble, I'ma play my cards and roll these dice. Stack my chips and fuck your wife. Boy, you ain't really about this life. And while you sitting there rapping, talking about this cheese, I really be out here stacking mine. That's the difference between you and I. I'm really chasing my success, I really do work hard and grind. You just say you doing your rhymes, I got shit to show for off mines. You ain't got shit to show for but a waste of life. Used to be a friend, but now it's just a foe of mine. But still, I wish you the best as I pray for my enemies every night. But still, I wish you the best as I pray for my enemies every night.
But still, I wish you the best as I pray for my enemies every night.
And we're back. Bunch of Budget, Bonfire Radio. That was Financial Freedom by Kids Seldom. And we trying to figure out how to free ourselves from the yokes of these taxes. Or wait, free ourselves from the yokes of thinking that taxes are yokes.
There you go.
Something like that.
Something like that.
There's some yoke on our back.
I know. And we are here with Gina Noy, CPA and founder of Noy Taxes, making us feel a lot better about this whole thing. Thank you for being a human about it. We very much appreciate that. I wanted to ask, I feel like a lot of our listeners maybe have never used an accountant, don't know when they need one. At what point is it time to start considering an accountant, and when can you just keep doing your taxes yourself?
It's probably going to be a loaded answer. I think you'll know when you need a professional.
Okay.
I think if you're getting a single W-2 and maybe $10 in interest, you really don't need an accountant. TurboTax is just fine, whatever accounting software you need. And I have told people that in the past. I don't add value to you if you could just enter, you made X number of dollars. What I think brings people through my door is because they married and their spouse, also has complicated situation. They have a side business like freelancing, or a full-time freelancing, or some kind of LLC or an S corp. Many times people like to use a professional as also an insurance, make sure that they are doing everything correctly, that everything is being captured. And if there is a question down the line, you have somebody who you're not cold calling, but has been working on your returns either last year or has in the past for several years in a row. So they know you. I personally know, I work with hundreds of people every year, but I would say I know about 75% of my clients by name.
Oh, nice.
And I say, yeah, Allison is doing this and Allison is doing that. And they'll email me, or when the return is due, they'll say, oh, we had a baby, we didn't know what to do. What should we do in terms of college planning? What should we do in terms of childcare? And you have somebody who has done your returns in the past, and all of a sudden there's a new event that happened in your life, whether it's marriage, divorce, new baby, a house, a business. They already know what to do. Like my wheels start spinning.
Oh, that's nice. That's part of the relationship, like having a relationship with an accountant that is gives you a lot of peace of mind. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is exactly right. It's hard to start shopping for an accountant now, although of course it shouldn't stop you from doing that. But also keep in mind that not all accountants will have availability to take on new clients. A good time to, not to say don't do it now, but a good time to start is probably after October or during the summer, is
okay
when you think you're going to need one. Doesn't mean you have to work with one, but please, speak to different accountants. Most accountants will have a free consultation, probably over the phone. Maybe they'll even come and you can sit down with them. My personal experience, or how I work with my clients, if somebody reach out to me and have availability, I will schedule a 10 to 15 minute call, just basically hear what their situation is and tell them how I work. I'm not going to be a great fit for everybody. The way our process is structured is that it's more of a remote and then we meet. So it's not a good fit for everybody. I don't sit with people and do their return while they're sitting there. I think it's a waste of time. But some of my clients say, well, I have this question and I have another question, and what do I do with this business? I started an LLC. What about payroll? Then we go to a consultation then we charge a fee for, because it's not fair for me to take time away from my clients who are expecting me to work on their information or respond to their email in a timely manner. So it's only fair. So check with whoever you're speaking to, like, hey, can we just get on a 5-minute call or 10-minute call, just so I understand that we're a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
And then when tax time comes, also one other advice I'd say, if you have engaged an accountant, get them information as soon as humanly possible.
As soon as you get those forms.
As soon as you get this form, as soon as you finalize your freelancer profit and loss, as soon as everything, because they are working, I would say, 24/7 to get everything finalized by the tax deadline.
Yeah.
So if you do something by April 1st, a lot of accountants will not have the bandwidth just to finish. They would love to, but I think a lot of them will put you on extension. And not that extension is a dirty word, it's fine. It's just a lot of people would like to close the book on April 15th and not think about Friday.
Right.
They want to move on. And that also is important to get it done as early as possible, is because first quarter 2018 taxes will be due also by April 15th.
Ooh, so you have to pay your 2017 tax bill and whatever you owe at the beginning of 2018.
Yeah, pushing things off. Well, again, like we're saying, the more prepared you can be, the better. The more things you have running into each other, just the more madness it's going to be.
Yeah, for sure. So waiting till April means that and wanting to use an accountant means you're probably going to end up having to wait to file.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing about, when you're reaching out to somebody in the first quarter, I really appreciate you mentioning that to folks that probably it's not the best time, because I know a lot of great accountants who their noses are at the grindstone.
Like now.
From now till the middle of April. And if you holler at them, like we were saying earlier, make sure that they're prompt in getting back to you. This is not the time when they are going to be great at getting back to you.
They're
because
not.
They're
They can't.
already working for the people who they're working for.
That's right. And my priority, and I'm sure people who are good CPAs, my priority are my clients, my returning clients. It's not the new clients. I'm not constantly looking for new work. I have a book of business, and I need to make sure that their returns are filed. I'm the one who's harassing them.
Right.
Their vision. And people who like working with me like that about me, although I find it annoying sometimes being the annoying person. But somebody has to, because what I realized when I started my business is that taxes is only 1% from what they need to deal with. This is my life. This is what my livelihood. So I breathe. I know all the deadlines. I know you need to put away for quarterly taxes. I know you need to put away money for retirement. But for people, it's like, oh my God, I need to pick up my kid. I need to respond to emails. I need to open my mail, blah, blah. I have parents I need to take care of. So I do realize that. So if I need to make sure I'm taking care of my clients, not necessarily trying to get more business. So if they don't respond, also keep in mind, this is everybody's tax season. That's what they call it, busy season.
Yeah, totally. It's tax season, y'all. That's the thing.
Tax season.
And it's so great for you to remind folks that, that little thing, like taxes are a small part of my life.
Yeah.
It's something you've decided to take on as a profession. I'm sure, podcasting is a small part of your life. It's something we've chosen to... No, I'm saying it's something we've chosen to take on and do so that you don't have to do it for yourself every time you want to listen to a podcast. And that's why you go see a play where other people memorize stuff and go pretend to do stuff so you don't have to use your imagination. And then together, all these little pieces form a collective thing, and it all seems like we're all paying tax to each other.
Oh.
Yeah, I was getting somewhere with that. There's a point. All of these things are just examples of the way that we build and create community. Taxes are a portion of that, and it's so important for us to understand that there are professionals.
Yeah.
And the reason that there are professionals is so that you don't have to pay attention. Like you're saying, if it's one form and you can
put it into a software, that's one thing.
Send it on through. But if it requires any part of your brain,
if you have any questions when you do this,
it's not that you're stupid. I mean, hey, I know how to lift things, but if they deliver something, I go get someone for UPS and they bring it to me. I don't go in because I've got to do my job during my day.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I have an accountant.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying is at least get a consultation. Probably get an accountant if you have anything more complicated.
Right. When you start asking yourself questions and wondering how to actually fill out the forms and wondering, can I deduct this? What is this?
And when you start thinking you're slick, one thing I'll share, I probably said this on the show before, but I thought I was really nice with my deductions. I researched and, I'd spoken to lots of folks and got all that consultation together, and I had itemized all my things, and I was doing the same thing every year, and I had my pre-plan, told you all my stuff that I was doing. I thought it was smart, and I thought I was together. And then I got a top-notch accountant, and I sat down with him, and I was like, this is what I do. And I was all cocky about it. And he was like, yeah, we're going to do the opposite of that.
Yeah, that was all wrong. That was all wrong.
Well, and, that's okay, though, because that's not what I do.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But I was busy thinking that I could work my way into it without learning anything.
Yeah.
So hire CPAs is
yes,
what we're saying.
Hire CPAs, hire accountants. Oh, man. Oh, also, how do you know what kinds of credentials should you look for in an accountant? Because I feel like I remember hearing somewhere that anyone can say they can prepare taxes. They just got to get some number. And they're like, suddenly now I'm a tax preparer.
But wait, isn't there a non-CPA tax preparer?
Enrolled agent.
Yeah, enrolled agent. Yeah, so I mean.
Yeah, but there are people who you don't even have to be an enrolled agent, right?
Do they? I guess that's the question.
What are the rules?
Do they have to be an enrolled agent?
What do we need to look for? What should we ask an accountant who calls themselves an accountant?
Oh man, whew. You don't have to be a CPA to do taxes. You can
Mhm.
actually be an attorney, enrolled agent. I don't think, I could be wrong, but because I'm a CPA, so I never looked into it. I think you have to have some kind of credentials in order
Oh,
now.
okay.
I think in the past 5 years, I think before anybody, and I mean literally anybody, could have prepared tax returns. But now you have to have some kind of credentials
Oh,
and apply for a
good.
special number with IRS. Good, exactly, because it's kind of scary out there. But let's say if it's not a CPA, it's fine. An enrolled agent might even have more experience than a CPA. I think it's important to, again, find out how many years of experience that they have. I think it's important to ask them, if what are the hours that they can see you, make sure it fits within your hours. Do they work weekends? If you can't come after work, if they don't work super late. I think it's also important, is to ask, what if you receive a notice, and what if you have a follow-up question?
Oh, yeah.
Because certain accountants, they only work tax season, and then you can't find them.
Oh.
Yes.
Word.
Oh, that's a really important one.
That's funny because anecdotally, I kind of know that about ones who just sort of disappear, or they do other stuff.
Yeah.
They have like entirely
They
other
have a whole
profession.
other life, yeah. Well, yeah, and then your notices will come after tax season because that's when the IRS is looking at everything.
New York,
Ooh.
don't forget New York, yes, and
Yeah.
states, not just New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, whatever state you're in. And so it's important because what I do during the summer is I help people with notices. Notices start coming in.
Yeah.
We notice that you didn't report this, and then people, we didn't receive that statement. What do we do? Do we need to amend it? What do we need to do? But some tax preparers are just there for the tax season. So you just have to ask, do you work the whole year? Even if you work, like my hours are much reduced from the tax season, which is fine. That's my life. But I am there available for my clients unless I'm on vacation to answer and respond to any questions, tax planning or anything else that's going on. I think the other thing is, so that's where the big, in terms of whether they can get it right, I'm going to say yes. Because not everybody's created equal, because some people will be a little bit better, one thing I would say, if you have very specific business needs, so if you're a graphic designer, maybe ask them if they have other clients.
Oh, that's good advice.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's how.
So
When I talked about my itemized problems, I spoke to someone who worked with a lot of freelancers of my type, and that's why he knew all that insight. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's super helpful. That's super helpful. So I think we are unfortunately just about out of time. Any final words of advice for our listeners now that we're in the throes of tax season?
I think, you know what, we'll see where the new tax code will take us in 2018 and beyond. I think start now, you're going to start receiving tax forms, W-2s, 1099s, brokerage statements. Start making those folders. If you're a freelancer,
make a pile.
Make the pile. Do it now. Don't wait. I know it's everybody will be saying it's crucial to get everything done earlier, and then plan for next year.
Okay. All right. I love
All right.
it.
So you should treat it like Christmas shopping, I guess.
Treat it like the holidays. It's like it comes up every year. Why are we
It
surprised
comes up every year.
year?
You plan for it. Be ready by like May.
Yeah. There you go.
Previous
there you go.
May, not.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. So where can people find you?
You can find me on noytax.com, noytax.com. We also have a Facebook page, facebook.com/noytax. You can find me on LinkedIn, and I think I'm forgetting something else, but that's pretty much it. I'm available, and yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
we
this is
actually
really
we
informative.
had a blast.
Yeah, this was fun. Who says tax people can't be fun? Come on
Yeah,
now.
I love it. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yes. I want to thank Gina Noy, a certified party accountant. That's what CPA stands for, right?
Oh yeah, you know.
And we're going to finish off with, for y'all who do have the simple taxes, you can use one of the softwares. And here is Nasty Millionaire from of course they're from Los Angeles. Nasty Millionaire from Los Angeles with TurboTax rap. And we'll check you next week. Brunch and Budget, Bonfire Radio. Peace.
Yeah, TurboTax. This one's for you, TurboTax. Yeah, love you. Check this out. Turbo tax, TurboTax, so easy and so fast. 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 Yeah, anyone can use it, even if you're feeling all dumb and stupid. Cause they made it feel so simple. It's a program that's made for the people. With a step-by-step procedure, relax. You don't even have to have a seizure, yeah. You could be your own man in control of your own finances. Turbo tax, TurboTax, so easy and so fast. Turbo tax, TurboTax, so easy and so fast. Turbo tax, TurboTax, so easy and so fast. Don't be living in fear this year, cause you know tax season is already here. Don't deny it, just online, and it takes a couple hours and then you just sign it. Who knows, you might get some cash back. TurboTax can help you understand that. You ain't even gotta leave your house, be responsible right now. Yeah, you could be independent, you might get some cash, then spend it. Then spend it, just spend it. Turbo tax, TurboTax, so easy and so fast. Turbo tax, TurboTax, so easy and so fast.